Government shutdown. The biggest issue that people are having is with flood insurance. That's the biggest issue. So if you're not in a flood area, floodplain, if you're not in Florida, well, guess what? You'll have little impact. But as time goes on and this shutdown drags out, we're going to have to the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. For this show, I'm going to talk about the government shutdown and what impact will that have with real estate. And also, we're going to be talking about consolidations in the marketplace. We have Zillow doing acquisitions. We have Compass doing acquisitions. We have Rocket Mortgage. So let's jump into the government shutdown. What kind of impact could that have on real estate? Well, right now, not too much. The biggest issue that people are having is with flood insurance. That's the biggest issue. So if you're not in a flood area, floodplain, if you're not in Florida, well, guess what? You'll have little impact. But as time goes on and this shutdown drags out, we're going to have uncertainty in the market. So you're going to have people maybe sitting on the sideline because they're saying, what happens if I lose my job? Or what happens if enough people stop working because of the government shutdown? Our market, our economy is based 70% on people buying stuff. You know, we're a retail market. We're not a manufacturing marketplace for the country as far as, you know, industrials. We buy things. We're a consumer nation. So uncertainty is never good for the market. So we will see how everything plays out. We'll see if these politicians will finally, you know, get their act together and, reopen the government. Time will tell, but right now there's not a huge impact unless you need flood insurance, but there's private companies out there that you can go to. You don't have to go to the government, the national, FEMA type of flood insurance. Okay, so now what is going on? Zillow just announced that they have supplied all their data, all their information to ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT, as you know, is AI, and instead of ChatGPT saying, listen, let's reinvent the wheel, they went to the biggest, baddest company out there, Zillow, and said, hey, import all your information into our system. Now, what kind of impact is that going to have? Well, we don't know quite yet, and we don't know completely 100% the dynamics of everything. But what happens if all of a sudden you want to search for a realtor in a certain area, and you go in ChatGPT when you're searching for a home, you're saying, hey, show me a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with a driveway, and give me the top agent for this area. Well, guess what? What happens if Zillow, supplying all that information, also supplies one of their premier agents? So will that tip the scales? We are going to find out. We don't know exactly 100% how everything is going to translate when it comes to that. Also, you had Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage they ended up buying Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper was a big servicing company. They serviced loans. So after a loan is done, they bought the servicing rights and they would send out the monthly statements. Well, Rocket Mortgage, they bought that, and they recently, in the last 30 days, also took over Redfin. So we have some mergers there. You also have Compass. They ended up taking over Christie's International. That was back in December of 2024. And then in September of 2025, they turned around and they acquired Anywhere. Now, Anywhere, who's Anywhere? Most people have never heard of that. But the brands that Anywhere owns, there's a substantial amount. We have Coldwell Banker, we have Century 21, we have ERA, we have Cochran Group, we have Better Homes, ERA I mentioned already, Sotheby's International. So it's a big group of real estate companies that now Compass is controlling. Now, what's going to happen? Are they going to keep all those labels, all those brands separate? May they consolidate some of them? Only time will tell as far as that. But right now, as far as agents are concerned, they control 18% of the market share. And that's a large market share. 18% of real estate out there, they control. Also, they have 340,000 agents nationwide with this new acquisition. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. The big takeaway here is going to be consolidation of the markets. What's going to happen to the mom and pops? Or is there going to be more consolidations? Is KW going to buy Remax? Is Remax going to buy, who knows, anywhere else? You can name, the different companies that are out there. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this consolidation, what's that going to have, what kind of impact is going forward. Big news. Zillow and ChatGPT came to an arrangement, and Zillow is going to be funneling all the real estate data to ChatGPT. Once again, super interesting what happens as far as that's concerned. Also, a little bit of Fed. The Fed CME Group, which is the Fed watching tool, is predicting in the next Fed meeting that there is over a 90% chance the Fed will cut the rate. Now, the problem with the government shutdown is the Fed doesn't have all the data, all the employment numbers, all that is not being given. So we're just going to see how everything pans out. Well, thanks for getting me over the top. 40,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Be sure to follow the show on YouTube, The Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez on YouTube. Also, Facebook, Instagram. Be sure to follow the show there as well. Remember, this show is everything real estate, no limits. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you next time.